Hey everybody, welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, your live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports here on the shore. I'm Sports Director Brandon Bossert.
What is up? It is yours truly, sports anchor Devin J. Martin. Welcome into the show. We've got a lot to get in tonight. Brandon's your first day back here on the desk in DSI for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's so great to be back here on the desk. It's been a rough week between strep throat and a terrible stomach bug, but you know what? I am back and I am ready to go.
Yeah, you're back right in time for the start of spring sports.
Yeah, in time for the start of spring sports, but also we've got one more team to talk about with basketball. We've still got a chance to bring home a championship to the shore here.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we're going from indoors to outdoors. Feels like forever ago that we've been out on the diamond in the lacrosse field, but obviously before we get to there, we got to talk about what's going on the hardwood here in Delmarva.
Yeah, getting right into it, the entire basketball season, boys or girls, Maryland or Delaware, coming down to one game for us tomorrow night.
Absolutely. We had quite a few contenders this year in the Bayside and Henlopen. Now, we'll talk about them a little later. But first, we got to lead off with the team that's left standing, both on the boys and girls side. One team left, the Kent Island girls basketball team. Undefeated and still alive. The Bucks will compete for a championship tomorrow night. They're looking for the first girls championship in Bayside basketball since Pocomoke did it in 2008, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. One man who saw this KI team up close and personal this year was Decatur's head coach Scott Kurtz. Decatur faced Kent Island in the Bayside championship game. This is what he had to say about the Bucks this year.
They could come out and put up 60 on a night, and then they could put up 40. But they are a very good team, defensive team that really plays together. I admire the chemistry they have on the court together. The fact that they fought back the other night, you know, what they have like 14-1 in the first quarter, something like that, to fight back the way they did. You know, we're here on the Bayside pulling for them, hoping they can bring a championship back to the shore. And best of luck to them in their state championship.
Yeah, so Kent Island is the #1 seed. They will take on Lackey tomorrow night at College Park at the University of Maryland. Going to be a great battle. We saw what Kent Island was capable of in last year's playoffs when they took down Queen Anne's. They've won all types of battles this year, whether it's high-scoring affairs or whether it's defensive slugfests. One thing to watch out for tomorrow night, I think, that might be key here is Lackey's free throw shooting. 3 for 10 in the final minutes from the free throw line when they were trying to put that game away. That could prove to be significant late in this game for Kent Island, either if they're trailing by a few points or if they're ahead by a few points. Send them to the line. Let's see if they can make those free throws.
And that kind of leads into my point. Attention to detail, Brandon. I mean, that's where they got to be at the top of their game. Obviously, free throw shooting, because if the outside jumper isn't falling, I think I saw a lot the Bucks this year. They really like to shoot a lot of threes. They got to find other things that will work for them if their jump shots aren't falling. You know, offensive rebounding, obviously defense. You just mentioned it, free throw shooting, creating turnovers, and most importantly, good ball movement so they can free up those open shooters. I mean, Olivia Hainsworth was drilling threes from the NBA range during the Bayside championship game.
She's a fantastic shooter.
She is a great shooter, and they got a couple other ones as well. So they just need a few openings to let those shots go. And if they go in, they have a great chance of completing their undefeated season.
Yeah, it would be so great to see Kent Island bring home that undefeated season tomorrow. We cannot wait to see this game against Lackey. We're hoping for the Bucks to bring home that championship. It would be the first one for Bayside teams in either boys or girls since Pocomoke in 2016. The first one for the girls' side since 2008.
Yep.
So hopefully they can break that streak coming up tomorrow. All right, now the boys' Bayside season came to an end when Y-High fell in the 2A state semifinals earlier this week. The conference releasing their first and second teams and honorable mentions. No surprise here as Y-High phenom Antoine Wilson takes home Player of the Year in the South. He was also named an automatic first-teamer. There's a little bit of confusion on social media, I can understand from our posts. Antoine Wilson was a first-teamer. He was automatically first-team as he was Player of the Year. Bryson Coleman of Decatur taking Defensive Player of the Year, and Snow Hill's Sean Johnson winning Coach of the Year. Joining Wilson on the first team are Coleman and Jaden Hudson from Decatur, Bennett with Zakai Smullen and Jace Hudson, and Keandre Nixon from Pocomoke. He rounds out the first team. On the second team, we have a pair of Y High kids, Malik Leatherbury and Jalen DeShiel Andrews, Decatur's David Chandler, Parkside's Bryant Waters, and Snow Hill's Tyler Reddick.
Now we're going to move on to the Bayside North. North Dorchester's Nasir Polk takes home Player of the Year. Queen Anne's head coach Jeff Hollis was the Coach of the Year. And the Bayside North champs were represented very well on these teams. KJ Smothers was on the first team. And then a pair of Easton Warriors underclassmen, Sean Moody and Marshall Bailey. So watch out for the Warriors next year. They're going to be really, really good. They were joined by Cambridge big man Kobe Ennels in that top 5. The second team has 2 other Queen Anne's players, Ja Roy and Nate Ford. Ken Island's Aaron Robertson made it as well. And North Carolina's Nasai Bell and St. Michael's Nakai Miller rounded out the second team.
Now, of course, you can see all those names along with the honorable mentions on our website, 47abc.com. Meanwhile, the Henlopen not able to send anyone to the Bob this time around this season. Seaford came as close as anyone as they fell to William Penn at home in the state quarterfinals. And you know what? There's no reason to hang your head about that because William Penn is going to play for the championship tomorrow against Salesianum. Blue Jays were billed as title contenders before the season, and that was the right call. The Jays went 21-2 overall, including a Final 8 berth. An argument can be made that their biggest competition in the conference came from the South, that being from the Laurel Bulldogs. The Bulldogs won every conference contest except for those 2 games against Seaford. Laurel going 15-5, and they won a playoff game as well. Indian River definitely surprising people going 15-5. They won a playoff game, nearly pulled off a road upset in round 2.
And up north, Polytech, they ran the table, taking both games against Dover, who was their biggest competition. Especially Dover was really great last year. They were the Henlopen champions, and they secured the Henlopen North title. Cape Henlopen and Sussex Central both saw a resurgence this year, each winning 10 or more games. But again, Seaford was the only one to make it into that Final 8 round, and they lost at home. And it was a really tough loss. Obviously, our sports reporter Cole Howard was there. He saw a lot of disappointed faces. They came out and had a big run at the very beginning of the game, but they just couldn't finish the deal.
Yeah, and that's the thing about William Penn and a lot of these teams up north in Newcastle County, especially William Penn. Well coached, disciplined, and you know what, they got behind early, but their defense clamped down, and they were able to stay alive, and they were able to get that win at Seaford. That was an incredible victory by the Colonials.
Absolutely.
Got to tip your hat to them.
And again, we were on the Blue Jay bandwagon a lot. I know I was. I know you were picking.
There's a lot of reasons.
Right. They had a lot of talent. They had a lot of talent, but it just didn't work out for them.
If they had gotten by William Penn at home, they could easily be in William Penn's position taking on Salesianum tomorrow night for the championship. I know that stings for the Seaford faithful out there, but it is the truth. If you guys had gotten past William Penn, probably be playing for the championship right now, but give William Penn so much credit because they have a lot of talent. They brought a lot of ferocity down here to Seaford.
Absolutely. Now on to some more basketball. There's basically another super team kind of forming on Delmarva. Andre Collins, a former professional basketball player who's also a head coach at Crisfield and Bennett. He's back here on Delmarva trying to give the next generation of young hoopers the same international opportunities he had in his professional career.
Yeah, Devin, this is such a fun story here. His project Exposure is trying to take a select group of student athletes to new heights. After the whistle, here is brought to you by Shore United Bank.
The chance to go to Italy is like once in a lifetime thing, so I wouldn't miss that.
Y High's Antoine Wilson, Seaford's Brent Ricketts and Avion Matthews, Easton's Marshall Bailey, Polytech's Darrell Little, and more standout players from across Delmarva are in the same gym and playing on the same team. From the sounds of it, it's a Delmarva super team. And you heard Marshall, they want to go to Italy through Project Exposure.
We're starting to have more and more kids from our region to start playing professional basketball in Europe. So I figure if we could give them an opportunity to see what it's like over there prior to them going to college or prior to them, getting the opportunity to play overseas, we thought it would be a big help.
Local legend Andre Collins has put together a team called Project Exposure, and through an Italian cultural exchange program, 12 student athletes will be heading to Rome, Italy for a basketball tournament. The exposure on an international level will help all of the athletes immensely.
It can get us like more looks. A lot of us don't have no offers, we can just have connections overseas and get looks.
it would be good to play with like people with a lot of experience and upperclassmen as well, in a like high competition too.
Collins says not only will this trip help these athletes raise their game to a whole other level, but they'll be granted a once-in-a-lifetime experience at the same time.
You know, it's bigger than basketball. We want to give them an opportunity to visit the Vatican or visit, you know, the Coliseum. You know, it's one thing to read about that stuff in the history book, but it's, you know, something amazing. It's an amazing experience to see it with your own eyes.
Collins says he needs the help of the public. The price tag of this project is over 60 grand and donations are needed. He adds this is the community's chance to help make this dream trip a reality.
Everybody like get a new experience, see things we've never seen before. It's gonna be a fun trip.
That was a great story, Devin. The trip will be from April 12th to the 18th, so you have until then to make donations. To learn more details, visit Facebook page Project Exposure, the Overseas Experience.
And if you want to make a donation, you could Cash App Andre at Project Exposure Inc., or you can reach out to him through email, which is projectexposureinc@gmail.com, or call him directly on his cell phone to learn more information, 443-736-0701.
All right, a great project there. Go ahead and help out those kids. Now let's move on to the college ranks, where a few of our teams competing in the postseason tonight. For the UMES men's team, their best season in decades, coming to a close against Howard in the MEAC tournament. Kevon Voiles and Davis Chase led the way with 9 points for the Hawks. Nathaniel Pollard Jr. with 6 points and 9 rebounds as UMES falls by 19. It was a great season for the Hawks, an 18-13 record, the 4 seed in the MEAC tournament, but they fall to the top-seeded Howard Bison tonight.
And it is possible they could make the NIT or the CBI. So it's
very possible.
Depending on, you know, if any of those selection tournaments select them, their season may not be over. But to the Lady Hawks, this game went down to the wire. They also faced off against Howard. And Brandon, let me just take you through the last minute. Yeah, let me just take us through the last minute of what happened in this game. The score was 56 apiece. Then Laney Allen gave UMES a 2-point lead with a layup with about 30 seconds left. But then 16 seconds left in the game, the Bison responded, hitting a 3 to put them up 59-58. And then season on the line, 11 seconds left. What do the Hawks do? Do they fold? No, they don't. Maya Thomas goes baseline and drills a floater over 2 defenders, and that gives them a 60-59 lead UMES. But with 2 seconds left, Howard was able to score again, and it was an and one. Again, 2 seconds left, put them up 62-60. That will be the final score. The Hawks fought very hard in this game, but they just didn't have enough to overtake Howard and make it to the MEAC championship game.
Yeah, an unfortunate ending for the ladies' season as well. Chesapeake College men's basketball team did win tonight against Cecil College, so they are in the Region 20 finals coming up later this weekend. That'll do it for the A block and for the basketball season in general. When we come back, spring sports right around the corner. We're previewing some teams to watch out for on the diamond coming up next.
Hi, I'm Allison Corbin from Kent Island Girls Basketball, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.